Here's what you need to know before moving to Boise, Idaho in 2024. By the end of this video, you're gonna know all the schools, the job market, the growth, the new construction. It's gonna take you through the whole 9 yards of the whole Boise Valley. I've been born and raised in Boise and I've raised my family here. I've lived in Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Boise again, now Middleton. I've lived all over the valley. I feel like I can speak to a lot of different areas. I feel like I know every street. So I'm gonna take you on a tour of the whole Treasure Valley right here on all the things you need to know before moving to the Boise Valley in 2024. There are a lot of big cities out there that have a ton of benefits. Boise is not the world's largest city. The Boise metropolitan area is about the 100th largest in the United States. Let's break it down for city by city, kind of let you know where you would like to be. But here is a rough estimate for you. Boise has a population of around 250,000. I'm gonna give you the rounded numbers. You can look at the exact numbers if you want to, but Boise's population is around 250,000. Eagle's population is around 33,000. 10 years ago, that was 20,000. 10 years before that was about 10,000. Kind of shows you the growth. In 4 years, we're up to 33,000. Star, Idaho makes a huge jump from 2020 to 24. Star's population has gone from about 11,000 to 17,000 in the last 4 years. Meridian's population has jumped 20,000 in the last 4 years. It's now at 140,000. I remember seeing signs when going to high school, it said 33,000. Caldwell's population is up to 71,000 currently. Middleton has surpassed the 10,000 mark. It's now at 11,000 and change. Nampa's population has grown tremendously, about 20% in the last 4 or 5 years. It's up to 120,000. A town I don't talk about much, that's what this video is for, and this one's gonna talk about Fruitland. Fruitland's population is up to 7,300. And Emmett, another one I don't talk about much, so I'm gonna include on this video. Emmett is up to 8,600.
Kuna is a great little town south of Meridian. You'll access it most likely via Meridian Road or 10 Mile Road. And if you hit Meridian Road at the wrong hour, that is a bear getting out there. But the population is very, very similar to Eagle, Idaho, right around 30,000. And in 2020, it says it was 25,000. So it's exploded in the last 4 years. That's over 5,000 new people in the last 5 years.
When it comes to income, which city do you think ranks the highest? You probably guessed it if you know the valley halfway well. It's Eagle. Eagle has the highest median income for the valley. I currently live in Middleton, but moved from Eagle just a short year and a half ago. And Eagle's median income is around 160,000. Middleton's is right there around 80. About twice as much income to be had in Eagle, and you can feel it. I still enjoy doing real estate over there. The houses over there, you might say, are a touch nicer. For those of you who are familiar with Arizona, they say it's like the Scottsdale of the valley. Like, it's a little bit more money. It's a little bit more prim and proper over there. When you drive through the city, you see nicer cars. Like, it's just a fact. I love Middleton, I really do. I love the countryside, but I also love the prim and proper. So take what you will from that. Other median incomes include Boise at 105,000, Star surprisingly at 112,000 for household median income. And you can see the others on your screen. Caldwell 73,000, Nampa 78,000, Fruitland 87,000. That's the shocker. That is actually the shocker of the whole valley, is Fruitland actually has a touch more income and they're further out. That actually just boggles my mind. Emmett 78,000.
Kuna's average income is around 97,000 bucks. Pretty high for a small town like that. It used to be a dairy community. Now you can't really see too many dairies. I think there's 3 left, and I know one's in the process of being taken down right now. That's super close to center of town.
Remember, this is median income, so you can actually have quite a few millionaires in there, and this is median, not average. Totally different. When it comes to poverty rate, Star is actually the leader here. It's close to 4%. Emmett is almost 20% at 18.86%. Shockingly high. When you drive through Emmett, you can actually feel a little bit of it, but really surprised though, because Emmett's growing a ton. Caldwell around 12%, then Boise around 11%, Fruitland and Nampa at 10% roughly, Middleton roughly at 10%, just at 9.77%, Meridian 6.39%, Eagle 5.49%.
Kuna's poverty rate is 8.79%, not super high, not super low.
And that covers them all. And you can find stats that say a lot of things. One of the cool stats about Boise is that it's the 6th fastest growing city in all of the United States. Here's your sign to visit the Boise area this 4th of July. Look, the Boise area has a ton going on during the 4th of July. Boise's parade, Boise's fireworks down at Morrison, Star's parade, Middleton's water fight of a parade that goes on. There's Melba's awesome fireworks that happen over the Snake River Valley. And that's just a few of them. There's also Story Park in Meridian. There's also Hunter Park in Star, Brothers Park in Caldwell, that's right by the YMCA there in Caldwell. But that's just the 4th of July. There's a ton of events that happen throughout the valley. Farmers markets seem like they're in every city. Eagle has a farmers market every Saturday morning at that gazebo down there on Main Street in Eagle. They also have the summer concert series that accompanies that as well from May to September. Eagle has Fun Day fireworks on July 10th this year. A couple cool things you can do in Boise. Boise has the Boise River. You can float from Barber Park to Ann Morrison Park. That happens usually from mid-June to mid-September. There's the Spirit of Balloon Classic, which happens Labor Day weekend, and that's at Ann Morrison. I've been there quite a few times. You've probably seen footage from that from me if you've been following me for any sort of time. They have 3 or 4 days of events with hot air balloons. Really, really cool because it's not just balloons going up in the air. There's events and bands and music and festival happen on the grounds at Ann Morrison Park as well. Winter Garden Aglow is a cool event too. That's November, December, January. Star has some cool events too. So when we lived in Eagle, we shopped in North Meridian, did a lot of stuff in Star, did a lot of stuff in Eagle. And one of the things we did when we were there was the trunk or treat they do for Halloween. It's at the community barn. Really cool event. That usually happens somewhere in the 28th, 29th, 30th in that range for Halloween. If you aren't familiar with a trunk or treat, cars line up, trunks are open, kids go around in a circle, grab 50 pieces of candy in about 30 seconds, and they've got all their candy they need for Halloween. It takes the pressure off Halloween day when you've already picked up 50 free pieces of candy. And they also have a Christmas event at the River House on December 7th this year. Meridian has some great ones too. Meridian Dairy Days is probably Meridian's most well-known activity there in Meridian. Been going on for as long as I can remember. You have to understand, Meridian used to be a dairy town. There's a number of dairy farms still around the outskirts, but Dairy Days pays homage to our history. Dairy Days starts at Story Park. There's parades, there's festivals, there's candy, there's chocolate milk, there's all sorts of great things. Middleton has a version of the farmer's market of their own. It's actually hosted by the Tractor Supply, which is super close to me, which is convenient. A couple weeks ago, I was at Tractor Supply trying to buy some things for the yard, and lo and behold, it was a Saturday morning and the farmer's market was happening then. Another cool thing Middleton has is Foot Park has a fall festival and also an Easter egg hunt. Those two things happen every year at Foot Park. That's right, basically First and Main in Middleton. 20 years ago, we would not have been talking about Caldwell and their great events. They've actually done quite a few things to revitalize the town. It is awesome. Indian Creek is a huge part of that. Their winter parade they have every year is awesome. We've done that a couple times. Just remember to bring your hot chocolate. Caldwell has a farm to farmers market. It's May to September. When I say Indian Creek's been a big part of festivals, Indian Creek's not only a great place to ice skate in the winter, but during the year there's a million events. So they've got concerts, they've got farmers markets. However, the most anticipated event of Indian Creek is the cardboard kayak contest. People make their own kayaks out of cardboard and they float down Indian Creek. All they can use is cardboard and duct tape. And we cannot forget about the Snake River Stampede. That one is in Nampa. Snake River Stampede is the 3rd week of July every year. It's an indoor rodeo at the Idaho Center. It's one of the top indoor rodeos in the nation, and it is an event worth going to. The other rodeo in the valley is the Caldwell Night Rodeo. That one happens in August every year, outdoors, usually sweltering hot. So you've got a mix of indoors AC or outside Caldwell Night Rodeo. Both are great events. Nampa also has the arts. There's a Festival of Arts that happens every August. That one happens at Lakeview Park, and this year it's happening on August 10th. Fruitland has the Fruitland Family Fun Day. Check that out, 3 F's in a row. That one's at the Fruitland Community Park. And one of the bigger events in the whole Treasure Valley is actually the Emmett Cherry Festival. It actually happens from the time of this recording this weekend now. So it's the 2nd weekend in June. And the footage you're seeing from this video is from this year. Emmett is the land of cherries. I'm not sure why their cherries grow better over there than over here. Maybe they have less magpies than I have in my own yard, because getting those cherries to grow every year is a little bit of a challenge for me, getting the owl. Anyway, let's not go there. That happens. About 50,000 people come. It's at Emmett Middle School.
A few activities to know about CUNA. Freedom Festival, which is July 20th. That's part of CUNA Days. You got the Cornhole and Mud Run, August 3rd this year. And then you also have a Christmas parade every year.
Skip the months of research and listen to this jobs report. I'm going to tell you which industries gross the most money in Idaho. I want to share with you a tool you can use to check Idaho's demand on certain occupations. But first, a list of the top 10 in descending order of the top grossing revenues in Idaho. Number 10, commercial banking. Not much to say here other than banks are super popular. Whenever you see Costco go up or Fred Meyer or Albertsons, whatever it is, there's always a bunch of banks that flock. Banking seems to be a pretty high grossing activity. Number 9, supermarkets and grocery. That couples well with number 7, which is gas stations and convenience stores. That does skip number 8, and that is scientific research and development. That is actually mind-boggling. Real estate did not make this list, but scientific research did. Number 6, warehouse clubs and supercenters. We're talking the Walmarts, Costco, Sam's Clubs, those types of things. That's a huge industry in Idaho. Coming in at number 5, wholesale trade agents and brokers. Tell me in the comments below, does that include real estate agents, or is that just more like insurance brokers and money management brokers? Like, what is that including? I don't know. I'm just bringing you the list. Number 4, electronic parts and equipment wholesaling. And your top 3, dairy. There's a ton of dairy that happens in Idaho. It's a huge industry. It's actually 2024. My neighbor and good friend is an agent, but he specializes in ag and dairy land. And he says that in 2023, the dairy industry has actually been bitten a lot. I know when it comes to farms that Idaho is battling a farm issue right now when it comes to water. Can't let this stuff happen. These are backbones of America. This is backbones of Idaho's local economy. No food, no cows, no milk, no potatoes. It's gonna destroy a lot of things. It's a huge, huge important piece of Idaho. Number 2, hospitals is a huge industry. St. Luke's and St. Al's are some of the biggest employers when it comes to sheer numbers of how many employees work there in the state of Idaho. And number 1, I don't know if I saw this coming, the new car industry. Peterson, Edmark, Larry Miller, those are the names that come to mind. A quick shout out to Peterson Toyota. They have always treated me well. They have always given me the white glove service. I love everything they do. They are a great, great place to get a car, and it's also Toyota, so it's a great place as well. When it comes to buying a home, you're gonna probably want acreage or new home. If you don't need much acreage, you can find yourself a new home, most likely. If you've got millions of dollars, you can have both. But you don't need to tell yourself that you can't buy a new home. In fact, most of the people I help when they come here and move here from out of state are wanting a new home. It's just how it works out. It happens to work out that way. You can see from the chart you're looking at, Eagle's home prices are higher than the surrounding area. Boise's up there, Meridian's up there, Star is up there. Looks like Caldwell has some good pricing as well when it comes to the highest sold price. And Emmett, not surprisingly, has a huge range from 100,000 to what, 3.5 million to 3.5 million with a lower median price, because there are some homes out there on the river with 40, 100, 200 acres, super nice homes overlooking the whole Emmett Valley, which is actually super beautiful, with part of the river in their front or backyard. What's interesting about this to me, because I don't talk about Fruitland and Emmett too often, Fruitland's only 25 minutes from Middleton. So you can actually be to Costco in like 35 minutes from Fruitland, not a huge deal at all. But one thing that strikes me is that if you compare the median price of homes compared to the median incomes for households in Fruitland, it seems like Fruitland people might be living within their means just a bit more than the rest. I hate to be the one who delivers this news because all the haters come out when I say this in the comments, but you should move to Idaho before it's too late. I really hesitate to say that because I do think that Idaho is getting overrun, but if, this is hard. I'm in a tough spot because I love helping out-of-staters move here, and I know I'm not the reason that people move here, but I really do think that Idaho's real estate is only going up with time because supply and demand. People still are moving here. Just this morning, I received another message from somebody just like you who's wanting to leave the way of life in California and get to freedom-loving Idaho. Those texts and phone calls, when they do happen, they are the reason I do these videos. I love helping you move here. There's no greater compliment I received than a phone call, text, or email from you saying you want help on the buying in Boise blueprint, and that you want help buying in Boise, in the Boise area. And that is why I do these videos. So you can call, text, email at the number on your screen, but I do have a different opinion than the haters. And that is, I think you guys make our state better. I don't want to get into the data. There are actually statistics from certain people, parties, groups that tell you who is moving here. And the majority of people moving here, in fact, 80% on one poll I'm looking at, says that you guys are like-minded individuals. We want those people. We want to keep our freedoms and our land and our water here in Idaho. Interesting thing I pulled for you today is the 1 acre price in all of these cities. There's a high price and a low price. I want you to look at this. I think it's really interesting to see what the acre goes for. So the reason there's a variety of prices on these acres is because some acres have views, some acres have wells, some acres have septic, some acres have access, some acres don't have access. Why would anyone buy an acre without access? They're hoping to get it, and it's super cheap. So take a look at these prices of just bare land in these cities and to get a feel of what the pricing is like for land in these areas. Speaking of homes with acreage and a view, this one is in Middleton. This one's off Quail Hollow. This one's listed by a fellow agent at Homes of Idaho, Nikki Owens. And this one is a 4-bed, 3-bath, 4-car garage, roughly 3,000 square feet on just a hair over an acre, built in 2023 in Quail Haven subdivision. This one, take it all in, comes in at $1.211 million. One of the best compliments you can get as a parent is when another parent recognizes that the school your kid goes to is one of the best in the area. And school ratings help determine that, but really what helps determine that is the reviews of the parents. And they know. Parents talk at Little League games, parent talks at basketball games, parents talk wherever they go. As you see these school ratings come up, you'll notice that most cities have B's and A's, except for Caldwell and Nampa. There are probably reasons for that. I don't know if I am expert enough to say why that is, but I do know that most of the valley, when it comes to ratings, are A's and B's. I've said this time and time again with school ratings. School ratings are based on factors like how many kids per teacher ratio. It's based on national test scores or diversity and things like that. So when you go to sell a home in these areas, they go to the school ratings if you're going to be selling to somebody with kids in school. Does that help your home value? It may or may not, but it certainly will help the sellability of that home. If you live in a house that goes to a high school with a C rating, does that mean your house is going to sell for way cheaper? Not necessarily. But if you have the choice between two like homes and one's in a better school rating than the other, you might consider school ratings to be a part of the resale value when buying a home. If you're a mom wanting to know which park you should take your kids to after they wake from their nap, look at this list. One of the coolest things about Boise is the parks. It really is. So we have ordinances in most cities that say that we should have parks or elementary schools in every neighborhood. So there's green grass all over. Another cool thing about the Boise Valley is HOAs. Now I know a lot of you are gonna say no HOAs. I know that because a lot of people who call me are interested in no HOAs. But what HOAs do provide you is common area and walking paths and water rights for watering your lawn. But going back to the parks, one of the cool things about Boise, even though Boise has turned to be not where many of my clients are actually moving, people are moving to the Boise area, Boise actually takes the cake with parks. There are so many parks to go to. Ann Morrison, Julia Davis, Catherine Alberson, Camel's Back, Table Rock, Bogus Basin. The Boise River runs through it and has a ton of parks. Barber Park right there really has a ton of parks. You go to Eagle, you got Eagle Island State Park. You've got Eagle Bike Park, which is a little bit different than a quote unquote park. You've also got Merrill Park in Eagle. You got Gerber Park. Star has Hunter Creek Sports Complex. It has Pavilion Park. It also has Wagon Tails Park, which is that new park with the cement in the shape of a paw. It has pickleball courts there as well. Meridian's two best parks in my opinion are Settlers Park and Kleiner Park. There's plenty of other parks there as well. Middleton, my hometown, has a ton of cool parks. Foot Park, Cawthorn Park, Piccadilly Park, and Middleton Place Park. Those four parks are the ones that take the cake. They're awesome. The splash pads, skate parks, soccer fields, ton of green grass, baseball fields, tons and tons and tons of open area in Middleton, which is fantastic because we have a ton of open land here. Without naming all the parks, Nampa has a ton of cool parks. Wilson Springs Pond, for example. Caldwell has their fair share. Brothers Park is a fantastic park right there by the YMCA. Fruitland has Mesa Park. Emmett is right next to Black Canyon Reservoir. They have a park right there on the reservoir where it's dammed up. That's where people go to boat. But you can also just go there for the green grass and jumping in the water and having the beach access. And they also have Emmett City Park as well.
One of the best parts about Kuna is Indian Creek that runs through it. That is the creek. It's kind of like a small river and it has a green belt that goes next to it. And you've got people who will float that all year round. A couple other parks in town, Bernie Fisher Park. There's a skate park. There's Sadie Creek Park, the Nicholas Park, and Arbor Ridge Park. There's also neighborhood parks all over.
Tons and tons and tons of parks throughout the Treasure Valley. I would say that's a defining factor of Boise, and there are so many. I've probably listed 10% of number of parks that are in this valley. You will not be disappointed if you're needing community space. So if you're wondering what the name of the Boise area is, we call it the Treasure Valley. Why does it have the name Treasure Valley? Let me tell you. The valley was formerly referred to as the Boise River Valley or the Lower Snake River Valley. The term Treasure Valley was first used in 1959 by Caldwell's Pete Olison, who owned a seed company. Olison picked the name to represent the abundance of opportunities and resources that the area provided. Cool. The Treasure Valley does not include Mountain Home in Ontario, sorry, and it really doesn't even include Fruitland and Emmett. Those are their own valleys. So when I say Boise area in this video, I did include Fruitland and Emmett because they're cool towns, but really the Treasure Valley is Boise, Garden City, Meridian, Eagle, Star, Middleton, Caldwell, Nampa, Kuna. Those are really the areas of the Treasure Valley. By the way, while we're talking about it, another cool area in the valley is Parma. I absolutely love Parma. Notice it's a small town. Parma has the best sunsets in the world because it's just out there a little bit ways. If you're wanting the outskirts and you're thinking Fruitland or Emmett are cool, think about Parma too. A cool fact about the Treasure Valley is there's over 500 miles of canals. That's a lot. We get our water from Lucky Peak. There's a canal system that comes off of there and from the Boise River. So the Boise River is dammed at Lucky Peak, and from there the water either flows through the river or it flows through the canal system. But when you move into a neighborhood, most likely you're going to have an HOA that includes water rights. If you don't have a pool, you're most likely gonna have an open area, like I mentioned before, of an elementary school or just like grass area for a park. You're also going to have water rights to water your lawn throughout the year. That's one thing you'll have in the Treasure Valley is that usually an HOA helps you get water rights to those canals. Guys, I absolutely love the Boise area. I love the Treasure Valley. Last weekend I was in California celebrating my grandfather's life, who lived 97 years old, and was met there with my cousins, and they're all over the country. I've got 36 of them. They're all from Michigan, Cincinnati, California, Utah, Idaho, Georgia, Florida, everywhere. And as fun as those cities sound, when I hear about termites, when I hear about chiggers, when I hear about hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, I just love Idaho. I love everything we have here. I love that you've got camping within 3 hours and you've got millions of ideas you can go camping. You got rivers to run, you've got sights to see, you've got hunting, fishing, you've got the whole 9 yards. I absolutely love Boise. We've got big box stores, we've got restaurants, we've got an airport a half hour away, most spots in the valley. I can go on and on and on. The reason I'm talking so fast is because I absolutely love this place. So if you're needing help moving to Boise and it is your dream to get to freedom-loving Idaho, give me a call, text, or email. I would love to help you out. There's no greater compliment than to get those texts, phone calls, or emails from people like you trying to get here. If you're interested in the Treasure Valley, I've got a pros and cons of the Treasure Valley video, and you might want to go check that one out there. That video is going to give you more breakdown of the whole Treasure Valley. And of course, if I did miss anything, put those comments in the comment. I love those comments, especially when I miss something or I messed something up. Let me know. Let me know what I missed. And if you do that, I'll have the honor of replying to you or making a video on what you did mention.